Hello, everyone. Thank you for signing on to today's Railbookers presentation, Luxury and Iconic Rail Series. In today's Rail Series, we will be highlighting the classic, historic, very well renowned for many, many reasons, the Orient Express. We will also be touching upon one of my favorite rides, the Royal Scotsman by Belmont. So I'm very excited to have you folks here with me on the presentation today. Now, before we jump in or dive in, I do want to direct you all to the questions box that you will all find located on the side of the GoToWebinar platform. I welcome any and all of you to type any questions you may have. Some of you already have done that into the box at any time during the presentation. Now, I do want to let you know that some of those questions, as you ask them, might be answered as the presentation goes along. And for those that we don't cover along the way, we will do a formal Q&A at the end of the presentation. Additionally, I do like to make things interactive and energetic. I do like to draw you folks in so that you all are excited about the aspect of traveling and train travel. We already have folks like Claudia chiming in from Montana. Thank you, Claudia. We already have Steve from Poughkeepsie. Where else do we have? Folks, chime in your name and where you're dialing or calling in from, and type that right into the questions box on the side of the GoToWebinar platform. So far, we have Steve from Poughkeepsie. We have Claudia from Montana. I'm Jared. I'm here from Charleston, South Carolina. All right, folks, go ahead and type your own name and where. Let's see. We have Anne Marie. Anne Marie's up early this morning. She is chiming in from the San Francisco Bay Area of California. We have Carmen and Faye from Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. Deborah from Nashville, Tennessee. Love Nashville, Music City, USA. John from Scottsdale. Pete from Fairfax, Virginia. Deb from Vancouver Island in British Columbia. Deb, you're up early too. We have Ken from Annapolis. Trisha from Stoneham, Massachusetts. I'm actually originally from the North Shore of Massachusetts, Trisha. And keep it going, folks. I'm excited to have you folks here with me today. Stay just as drawn in and interactive as we continue along. So what will we cover on today's presentation? Number one, some important things to know about traveling by train, and to drop down to the third check mark, how rail bookers and other rail vacation providers are providing a safe environment for your travel. Some current limited time offer, we will lightly address that. There is a flash sale going on, folks. There is a sale going on right now with Railbookers, just so you folks know. And of course, as we talk about some of the great packages that you can travel by train, particularly those reflective of travel on the Orient Express or the Royal Scotsman or some of the other rail lines, what popular and great destinations are wrapped into that and for you to consider. Now, folks, there are two distinct brands here under our umbrella, our parent company called Yankee Leisure Group, that you should be aware of. Now, the host brand of the presentation today is Railbookers. That should have been pretty straightforward from the title slide that you saw at the beginning. Now, what is a Railbookers worldwide independent rail holiday? Well, number one, as its name would suggest, it is a vacation that involves rail travel. That's pretty straightforward. And since it is an independent rail holiday or rail vacation, you are not wrapped into the aspect of traveling with a big group of 30, 40, 50 other people on a squish motor coach or squish section of a train. It is yourself traveling. It is you and your travel companions traveling, your family, your friends, your loved ones, etc. And so those trips are booked for just you and those going along with you. And since it's worldwide, it's vacation packages around the world. It's if you want to go to Europe, if you want to go to Canada, you want to go to Australia, parts of Asia and Africa. And because it's the rail vacations or rail holidays, we bundle the rail travel with the hotel stay, of course, the sightseeing and the excursions and attractions at the destinations you're heading to, and we conveniently put them together, organize it together, and provide you all your travel documents, all boilerplate and straightforward for your convenient rail vacation. Now, folks, we also are Amtrak Vacations here. So where Railbookers is the worldwide or international brand, Amtrak Vacations is the same idea, the same concept, except for travel here in the United States. And so, say if you wanted to go to the US national parks, or if you wanted to go across the country, see, from city to city or wherever it may be, Amtrak Vacations can help you with that. And we are one company. One side is Railbookers for the international travel, Amtrak Vacations, the other side of the company for domestic travel, if that makes sense. Now, we're talking today about luxury rail journeys, and that should definitely be prevalent given we're talking about the Orient Express as one of the trains we will be highlighting today. But what makes a luxury rail journey different? What makes it stand out from some other form of travel? Well, number one, depending on the package and where it's going, you will be traveling on an iconic, historic, and often incredibly scenic route. For the Orient Express, for example, you will be traveling through and around the Swiss Alps. Impeccable onboard service with dedicated stewards and staff throughout your journey, and worldwide cuisine prepared by private chefs on board the trains themselves. There's a variety of sleeping accommodations often for you to choose from. And we can even arrange, along with the travel itself and the package itself, private excursions and additional activities that can be arranged for you. Now, overall, as a quick recap, what does Railbookers offer? Well, confirm seat reservations. So when you're booking with us, you're not just booking a pass for travel on board the train. And I don't want to get into it, but passes aren't the most convenient way of traveling, especially internationally, but also here domestically in the United States. We book you on confirmed seats and confirmed tickets ahead of time, so that you know when you board the train and you sit down in your seat, it's confirmed, that's your spot. No one else can take it from you. And I'm going to jump around because I want to highlight that we book the hotels with the packages, and we allow you to choose where you stay from in the destinations. And we give you a menu of options at 3, 4, and 5-star hotels. We include sightseeing activities and excursions, whether that be a guided day tour to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, a quick gondola ride up to the top of a beautiful mountain, and so many other different options. Depending on where you're going, folks, we can send you on a Sound of Music tour, a Harry Potter movie location tour. We can have you head out to a historical solemn tour out of through Auschwitz. We can have you on a walking tour to the most secret and coveted and popular restaurants in some incredible international cities, from Rome to London to Edinburgh and beyond. We include what I like to refer to as the little nitty gritty, the little bits and pieces, like a necessary ferry or a transfer from the airport to your hotel or your starting point. And as we are going to highlight, overnight rail journeys as well. In all of our rail vacations, all of our packages are customizable and can be adjusted and changed and personalized to your requests, such as we can take a pre-organized itinerary and add on a destination per your request. So whenever I get to this slide, I give a hypothetical. Perhaps you, Carmen, or Deborah, or John, or Peter, or Ken, or Anne Marie, or Susan, or Ludi, or Mitch, you were looking on the railbookers.com website and you said, I really like the Venice, Florence, and Rome itinerary. It's a few nights in each of those cities. It's train conveniently connecting all of those areas together with sightseeing in all three destinations. And you really wanted to go on that trip. So you give us a call, you talk with a Rail Bookers agent here in our call center, and you say, I want this itinerary, but I want to change it. I want to personalize it. And they say, sure, okay, what would you like to do? Well, I want to add on a stay and a visit to Cinque Terre on the coast. It's beautiful out there. The five towns right built along the Italian ocean side. I want to go visit there. So we take the Venice, Florence, and Rome itinerary and plop Cinque Terre and a stay there into the itinerary, rework the trip. There we go. Or perhaps you are flying into and out of Rome and you need to make sure the trip starts and ends there because that's where it starts and ends for you. And so the itinerary might be Venice, Florence, Rome, so it ends in Rome, but you need to take the train up to Venice to start the trip, then do the trip all the way back down, round trip back to Rome, so you can fly out of there. No problem. There's the other situation. Maybe you want to do the trip in reverse instead of Venice, Florence, Rome. You want to go Rome to Florence to Venice. Simple as that. We can take it and flip it over. We can always upgrade where applicable to first class and business class and some of the other accommodations on board the train. We always include sightseeing and excursions within our packages. We always do. But we can always add additional options on top. So if there's something that is not on the itinerary to begin with, you want to make sure it's in there, we can always do that. So when I say that we can customize, personalize, and change our itineraries to fit your specific requests and needs, does this make a little bit more sense now when I say that to you folks? Yes? No? Maybe so? Beautiful. Good handful of yeses just popped up into the questions box. I've done my job. We can continue. And I do want to mention, as I have before, that you are allowed to pick where you stay. One of the things that I always find inherently frustrating with, say, those escorted motor coach, group tours, is that they just book the same hotels wherever they, have a partnership with over and over and over. And so you aren't able to choose where you stay along your trip. Maybe there's a hotel in Rome that you've always wanted to stay in, or maybe in Venice you want to make sure your hotel is adjacent or overlooking the Grand Canal, or maybe just maybe you want to save a little bit and you want to stay in a clean, comfortable, convenient 3-star property that is, user friendly, but will help you save a little bit. You can pick and choose where you stay. And that even includes perhaps in one destination, you want to stay at a 4-star hotel, but the other two destinations or few destinations, you want to stay at a 3-star property. No problem. We can switch around and make it so easy and convenient for you. And we can help you book and organize, plan and travel, whether it is for an international trip or through Amtrak Vacations for a domestic trip, from today, organizing, planning, preparing, booking, and traveling from today to 2023. So for those of you who are looking to go somewhere before the end of the year of 21, the calendar year closes out, we can help you. If you are looking and planning now for next year, we can help you. If you are not ready to go this year, or maybe even for some of next, but you're looking for a few years out, we can help you. So let me ask you folks, who here is planning on traveling in 2021? Who here is planning on traveling in 2022 or 2023? Write which year you would like to travel right into the questions box. All right. So, well, we've got a good plethora of answers. Many folks are saying 2022. We have some folks, a handful, saying 2021. Uh, Deborah put in, I agree with her 100%, all 3 years. We have one or two that are not ready to go yet. They put in 2023. Well, we can help with all of the above. And here's the good news, folks. If you aren't ready to travel yet, but you are planning, you don't have to pay in full. You can put down a deposit, lock in the travel, lock in the itinerary, lock in the pricing for 2022 or 2023. It's simple as that. So, why travelers love Railbookers? So, some of this will be a repeat, and some of this will be some good new information and some good pointers for you folks. Number one, when you are planning and organizing and booking a trip, working with Railbookers gives you the expertise and benefit of working with someone who has that rail knowledge. We know the rail. We know the best routes and the best times. And that's relevant because, particularly in the European systems, the train systems there, some of those trains travel 10 times a day or more. And they start as early as 4 in the morning and run as late as midnight. And if you're working with Amtrak Vacation, some of those trains travel in Amtrak travel once a day. Some of them only travel 3 times a week. And also, you may have a quick trip you want to go, but you may also have a grand plan. And so, whether you're just going to one city, one U.S. national park, one area of Italy, or you want to go on a grand journey, and you tell us you want to go London, Paris, Barcelona, Madrid, parts of Italy and beyond, we can help plan and organize that for you. And again, we can help you book from today for travel in 2021 to as far out as 2023. And we have a maximum flexibility. And basically that means is we can pretty much send you to almost any destination for any length of time you're looking to go there, pretty much as long as the trains are running there and the destination is open and available, we can send you there. Which, if you think about it, with a lot of the guided group tour companies, they only have set departure dates and they can only go certain times of the year, certain times of the week, certain times of the month. Cruise lines are the same thing. You have to go on their set departure date. The cruise can't go when you want to go, it goes when it goes. With us, we can help fit around your personal schedule. When you have set vacation time, should that be applicable to you, or just when it's convenient for you to go. And because we can do anything and everything, from a quick trip, from London to Edinburgh, we can do a trip across Italy, we can do a trip across Europe, we can do a trip across the United States, or just to New York or just to Chicago. Perhaps you want to go to U.S. National Park. Maybe you want to go into the Canadian Rockies. Maybe you are looking to take the family on a family trip to Washington, D.C. or to Los Angeles. Maybe you want to go on the Orient Express, which we'll talk about in a moment. We have the largest rail vacation selection worldwide. And because of that, no rail trip is too complicated for us. And to give you an idea, as I mentioned, when you work with us, that you're talking and working with someone who has expertise and expert knowledge, and how that may come in handy. Well, this, folks, is the European rail system map. All the colorful lines, the solid lines, those are rail systems, those are rail travel. Everywhere you're seeing a little white dot, that is a destination where we have some form of a package or a vacation to, so you can see how intricate it can be and how we can assist you there. So we have had a couple of questions regarding how are rail operators maintaining a safe environment. Well, right now, they are requiring facial coverings to be worn by passengers and staff members of the rail systems alike, and they're required to be worn throughout the stations and on the trains. The increased cleaning and sanitation has been doubly, triply held for their services. They're continuing to keep things immaculate. And contactless ticket control. We provide e-vouchers and e-documentation and e-tickets so that it is requiring less of a person-to-person actual physical contact because you can just show them up on your phone. And I welcome you folks after the webinar, I hope that goes without saying, to sign on to railbookers.com. We have so many different destinations for you to choose from and vacation types and options there. So you can take a look at beyond just what we're showing here or do a little bit more deep dive into what we're showing here and some great other packages and destinations that are available to you. And of course, some ways we can customize it and personalize it to fit your needs. And do not miss out. We currently have a flash sale going on right now. I mentioned it at the beginning of the webinar, where you and yours can save up to $350 off per couple. That sale is ending on the 22nd. So I would say, folks, give us a call, work it out, because it is up to $350. It depends on the length and the involvement of the actual package yourself, and everybody's going to be asking for something specific and different to their own needs. But give us a call, start planning, and see if you can save, because saving is always a nice thing. So let's talk about the subject of the day, these incredible, iconic, luxurious train rides, convenient, scenic, and beautiful, that will take you to these once in a lifetime, for many people, destinations, such as the Venice Simplon Orient Express to Venice. Now, why is it called the Venice Simplon Orient Express? Well, first off, it's going to end in Venice. That should be pretty straightforward from the package name right there. Now, it goes through the Simplon Pass, located amongst the Swiss Alps. So that is where it gets its name from. And the Orient Express, which has been detailed in historical and incredible and famous novels, movies, TV shows alike, comes with a very hefty name. And folks, when I show you the accommodations on board this train, you're going to be blown away. I can't wait. Now, this itinerary itself starts in jolly old London, and so we will include, as a part of the package, a visit to London, one of my favorite places in the world to visit, and there's so much to do. Now, I do want to let you know that we include a stay there if you wanted to, say, extend the visit London, because there is so much to do there. There's different exploration options around London. I like to call it the postcard tour, when you're going to visit Big Ben and Buckingham Palace and London and go to the Tower of London and take pictures there. You could be on a foodie experience. London is known as one of the best foodie cities in all the world. Whether you want to go to the high-class, five-star dining options, whether you're going to have your typical fish and chips, or head out to some Indian food, or even just hang out in a pub and sip a pint and have some pub fare. There's the foodie experiences. There is the history experience. If you want to take, London itself is steeped and built in a pillar of world history. So if you wanted to go to the British Museum and explore around there, and go out into the House of Commons and what have you, there's so many different options to explore around London. From there, you will take a ride on a traditional British Pullman car through the countryside, as a part of the first part of the journey of the overall Orient Express experience. From there, you will continue through the Channel on a luxury motor coach. Now, what is a luxury motor coach? Well, first off, it's just the ride through the Channel between England and France. The train pretty much picks up in the greater Paris area. So why is it a luxury motor coach? Well, number one, you're only on it for one portion of the trip. And along that way, you're going to be served champagne along the way. Eventually, you'll head out through Paris. You'll arrive. You'll take the motor coach service arrive in the station for the Orient Express, where the gentlemen resplendent in their garb, the conductor's garb with the velvet powder blue outfits, the spotless white gloves with the white glove service, will come off the train onto the platform and guide you onto the train itself. And here is some of the shots of the inside. What I always like to ask this rhetorical question: what train do you know has a baby grand piano as a fixture inside of the train in the lounge itself? And there are a handful of lounges and areas to lounge around on the Orient Express. So if you are looking to have the full experience, relaxed, enjoying the ride through the countryside, through the scenic areas, and have a cocktail or two or 20, I say that facetiously, but maybe not facetiously, enjoy all of the ambiance of the piano player along the way. That is definitely a prerogative. You can see a closer shot of here, the seating right there, champagne being shared and poured. It really is quite the iconic experience. This is one of the cabins on board the train. So there are several levels of cabins for you to pick from. And the cabins themselves are preserved as they were and as they looked pretty much for the last 100 so odd years, with the rich dark cherry polished wood and the same light fixtures, the same white marble water closets. You can see the comfy robes, plush, very relaxing for you to enjoy. And the meal service on board the train is, of course, one of the grand highlights. Now, when you sit down for your meals, which you will have several along this way, you'll have a lunch, dinner in the dining areas, the dining cars on board the train. The next morning, you will have a full service breakfast served right to your cabin as the train is traveling through the snow-capped Swiss Alps of the Simplon Pass, so hence its name. And then a later brunch type service along the way before arriving in Venice. And here is a shot of one of the desserts. So the chefs, of course, are the highest in quality and caliber, taught at some of the most renowned chef in cuisine academies in the world. It is really an incredible experience. From there, you'll arrive in Venice. You'll do a stay in Venice. We include a gondola ride as well as a historical tour, walking tour of Venice. And what we typically say is after the ride you've experienced, find a place that you're comfortable at, get a coffee or a glass of wine and reminisce. Now, I do like to highlight that we do have options, as I mentioned before, to upgrade or choose your hotel, such as the Sina Palazzo Sant'Angelo, which is right along one of the veranda views of the Grand Canal. So that, folks, is the first itinerary we'll talk about today, the Venice Simplon Orient Express to Venice. Now, this next itinerary includes that majestic Grand Orient Express ride, but we've also partnered it with two other rides on incredible scenic view trains through the Swiss Alps, the Bernina Express and the Glacier Express. So this itinerary will start in Zermatt, and from there you will pick up the ride on the Glacier Express with its great panoramic view train cars, where the windows ride right up and cusp along the top of the train cars itself as you're traveling over some 90 plus bridges, through some around 200 odd tunnels. And with the Glacier Express, we have multiple levels of service from more coach style seating all the way up to excellence class, which is known as the most sought after window view seats in all of Switzerland, that come with a 5-star, 5-course gourmet dining service with wine tasting along the way. So beyond just the ride on the Orient Express, if you were looking to have the kind of the grand experience of all around the Swiss Alps, this would be a definite highlight along the way. You will connect through St. Moritz, where you will ride on the Bernina Express, continuing along the Swiss Alps, going along some of the pristine emerald lakes of the mountain, around the mountainsides. And then from there, you will connect to Venice. So this one, in this case, will pick up in Venice. And from there, you will then board the Orient Express. So it's almost a reverse ride. Here you can see what it looks like during the day. So you can see the bedding as it's folded up, sort of like a den style seating. You can see even just the metallic fixtures of the doorknobs and and everything. They're polished, they're pristine. You can see these folks are definitely having one of the conductors, one of the servants there, bring down a bottle of champagne for them to toast along the way. And again, the meal services are some of the best in the world. The dining is some of the best in the world. Think of lobster, think of caviar, served with lunch and dinner. Is this making anybody hungry? I like to ask. And here is a big veranda or vista view of what it looks like from the outside of the train, but what you will be seeing from the inside of the train. Now, I do want to highlight this is a 5-star classic service. So it does come with the expectation of decorum and dress along the way. So it's very, very business or dressy, form of casual during the day, black tie and or tux for the gentlemen in the evening time for dinner, evening gowns for the ladies. And you can see how this itinerary will work out with staying in Venice, traveling through the Swiss Alps on the Glacier Express, the Bernina Express, then taking the train almost oppositely, and then ending in London. Next up, we have the Belmond Royal Scotsman Highland Journey. So if you are looking to take a ride through the Scottish Highlands, there are many options for you, but the Royal Scotsman, with its overnight ride, its classic, the classic beauty of the rolling Scottish Highlands, is highly suggested for you folks. This starts in London, very familiar. So you will spend a couple of days, 2 nights in London. We include sightseeing for you there. And again, if you want, it's totally up to you what you'd like to do there. We have pre-built in options such as your typical bright red open top hop on hop off bus. So you can get on and off at all of the local attractions. If you wanted to add one of the tours, such as I mentioned earlier, a Harry Potter tour, if you wanted to add on a more historical tour of London, or even heading out into the English countryside, we can do that. From there, you will head on up into Edinburgh. Now, we will include a stay in Edinburgh as well as a connecting point and a jumping off point for the ride through on the Royal Scotsman and through the Highlands. We include a skip the line admission to Edinburgh Castle, arguably arguably the most historical and one of the most popular attractions in the city. For anybody going to Edinburgh with the attraction admission included, I advise using that in the afternoon, after lunch perhaps. There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, there's so much to do in Edinburgh during a 2-night stay there, including just exploring and walking along the historic cobblestone streets at your leisure. Shopping in the city is incredible. There's, of course, many historical, famous little privately owned local shops, great cuisine to enjoy. It is a skip the line admission. Now, folks, whether you're going to Edinburgh Castle, whether you're going to the Vatican, whether you are heading into one of the many, many attractions across Europe that are very popular, have a lean of many tourists going into them, we can include skip the line as an option, as an add-on, so that you, as its name would suggest, skip the line. Now, why would I say, well, if it's skip the line, but you're going into the Edinburgh Castle in the afternoon? Well, with that skip the line, you get right to the head of the line, you go right on in. Also, it is a popular attraction. So in the afternoon, there will be less people. People that have flocked there in the morning will have filtered through. That way you will have a better look and perhaps better picture taking opportunity of the honors of Scotland, which is the nickname or the other name for the crown jewels of Scotland. Also, visiting this incredible historic castle built into a giant rock outcrop that overlooks the city gives you a great vantage point. So that if you're there later on in the afternoon, you could quite literally watch the sunset over Edinburgh from the giant rock outcrop. And last but absolutely not least, I should mention, in the afternoon, the soldiers stationed there at the Edinburgh Castle do their ceremonial firing of the gun, where they come out in their military garb, in their formations, they fire off their pistols to honor the Scotsmen and Scotswomen still at sea. And that is a very somber and honorable service and really a once in a lifetime thing to experience. So definitely a part of the total overall visit. Just a little piece of advice. From there, you will board the Royal Scotsman. The carriages themselves, you will see, are opulent. You will be treated to magnificent scenery that will transform from the cityscape to the plains, through the northern areas known as the Kingdom of Fire, dramatic scenery of highlands along the way, rolling along the way, cusping along lochs, and seeing areas such as tiny highland villages right from the vantage point of the lounge car or your sleeper car, depending on where you'd like to relax in. Here's one example. This is, I believe, a twin style cabin. And again, there are multiple levels to choose from. Single travelers, if we do have any single travelers, there are single travel cabins. There are double cabins. This is a twin one. Here is a look at one of the lounges. So if you would like to sit down and have a cuppa, that's a cup of tea, or sip a glass of scotch or a cocktail as you are rolling through the Highlands itself, that is, of course, your prerogative and something I very much welcome you to. There will be crudité, hors d'oeuvres, and appetizers that you will enjoy along the way. And this does connect you to some of the oldest areas and most historical and greatest spots around Scotland, such as a visit to Inverness. And I will not pretend to try and pronounce all of the great places, but you will visit through Dalwhinnie and Inverness, Culloden, head through Edinburgh. There's quite a lot. You'll have a private tour of the Culloden battlefield, a visit to a distillery, option for clay pigeon shooting at Rothymark Estate. And this is just one of several Royal Scotsman journeys that we have options for here at Railbookers. So, some upcoming webinars to welcome you folks to. Of note, we have the luxury and iconic journeys through Switzerland, which will be coming up on the 26th. And on November 2nd, we'll be highlighting Alaska by rail, by land with Railbookers. And I do have to say, in terms of our Alaska product, just to highlight that before we conclude and head into the question and answer session, if any of you would like to experience real, authentic Alaska, getting into the back country, riding into and visiting the little Alaskan towns. And by the way, folks, we have plenty, and I mean plenty of sightseeing and excursions options. Alaska by rail, by land, definitely worth attending that webinar and seeing some options. And this will be my last question to you folks before we get into a Q&A, if anyone would like to start typing those in. What destinations are you considering for your next vacation? I had asked who is looking to go when, and we had people saying, well, I want to go this year before the end of 21. Well, and then others saying, well, I'm looking maybe for this year, but mostly for 22. And some saying, well, I'm going to hold off until 23. And so where are you actually looking to go? Let's see. Claudia said Alaska and Italy. Anne-Marie said Europe. Well, there we go. Perfect. Let's see. Steve said Alaska, Glacier National Park, which that is an Amtrak Vacations product, in Switzerland. Sorry, folks, we jump back there. Any questions? We had a question regarding the COVID-related requirements. Of course, the facial coverings, as I mentioned, the continuous cleaning and sanitation, that's all part of it. Ken said Ireland and Scotland. Deborah said Europe as well. Peter said Italian lakes before a burn cruise. We can absolutely help you with that, Peter. Regarding dining on the train, very good question. Will dining areas be open or will meals be in the cabin? The dining areas on these trains will be in the open in the dining cars. Let's see. How do I book? Very good question. You would call Railbookers. You can see our hotline right there, 888-829-3040. And we absolutely can walk you through what itinerary you're looking for, if you want to customize it, booking it, planning it. And that's the other thing is once you are quoted, if you have any questions, once you're booked, if you have any questions, you can give us a call and ask for, and work with our team, and they will cover everything for you. Okay, so what is the advantages of booking, say, with Railbookers as opposed to one of these specific train companies just with the train company? That's a very good question. Well, with the train company, more often than not, you are going to, of course, book their own train ride. That's pretty straightforward. When you're booking with Railbookers, you are booking the overall overarching package. So as you saw, for example, the Orient Express ride connecting along with the Bernina and the Glacier Expresses rides through Switzerland, those are all bundled, organized, planned, customizable, package with the hotels, all of that through Railbookers. So you're not working with one rail line to book just those tickets in that spot. The other rail line booking just those tickets on that spot. Booking your hotel on your own. With us, it's all packaged and organized day by day. You have questions for all of it. And then here's the other situation. Lord forbid, I hate to bring it up, but imagine for a moment the last 2 years that we've all experienced, something happens and you have to change it, you have to cancel, Lord forbid, or even just move dates. Would you rather do it yourself for all the individual pieces or have one company that you can work through to do all of it and fix all of it and change all of it. Pretty straightforward. In terms of service dogs, I don't believe there would be much of a problem. I would want you to talk with a Railbookers consultant because that is reflective of specific tours and things that are involved. And it depends on exactly where you're looking to go and what you're looking to do. So in terms of transfers from airports to hotels, we have transfer services in many areas. We don't have them in every area. So depending on where you're going, when you're going, how you're going, we might and could likely be able to get you from the local airport to a hotel. We do not have transfers everywhere and anywhere, but yes, with the specific question, airport to the hotel, we should have plenty of options for you. Okay, folks, that looks like it was the last question for now. I do want to let you know, folks, that we do have a follow-up presentation. Same thing at 2 p.m., same presentation. If you'd like to attend then, we welcome you to. If not, we do record these and put them on our website, railbookers.com, the following day. So I want to thank you for taking the time today. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. And we look forward to seeing you on another webinar soon. Thank you.